Okay, anyway, I'm gonna go on Mirage, because this is like the map that everybody knows, right? Mirage. Yeah, you guys know. You guys just keep talking about the enemy, which I got a bit like, I was a bit, annoyed about, but it's okay. Okay, so someone popped the question. I think it was who was it? I'm just scrolling through chat. I think it was Aeolus. Aeolus popped the question about he popped the question about crosshair placement. So crosshair placement is actually something that is very dependent on the situation. For example, if for example you're playing Shadow and you're kind of holding the guy coming out A main, you know that they're gonna white swing this angle with or without a flash. So chances are, if they're coming in with an execute, it's a good idea to kind of have a lead on where they're gonna come from. Instead of putting your crosshair like really deep and close to the wall, which is like which you're kind of destined to fail with if you do this, because he's gonna white swing this angle. He's gonna go like boom, and then you're gonna miss like your first two shots because it's gonna just go behind him and he's gonna be like here. So I think when you're marking an angle, it depends on the situation. Like for example, if you're playing a angle like this, whereas you probably know that they're gonna shift out. Okay, this is the angle that I like, right? Because it's kind of off angle. If you're playing an angle like this and you know they're probably gonna shift out, it's a good idea to like put your crosshair closer to where he'll appear, which is like right here. Because anyway, this thing is kind of like uneven. You see like a pixel of him before like you see a pixel of him before he ever sees you. So it's kind of a good idea to have your like crosshair closer to like the angle that you see him, like closer to the wall or whatever obstacle is in the way. And for me personally, if I haven't actually touched that much about it on my on insights when I'm reviewing my own demos, but when I play and when there's really nothing going on and I'm not talking, I'm just focused on my crosshair, I usually would be thinking about the fundamentals of the game, like the simple, like the basic mechanics of the game. I'm thinking like, okay, this current situation is better to hold an angle that is like tight, like a tight angle. Or is it better to hold an angle where I have some lead on him running out? And these things are kind of always going through my mind. It's like a checklist. Whenever I'm playing, whenever I'm keeping focus, it's like a checklist. When I'm trying to just focus on the aim duels and all my crosshair, I have this checklist that goes through my head, which is I look at radar. I know where the enemies can be coming from. If I'm not sure, I'll ask my team. Guys, can they come into here? And then eventually it comes to a point where it's like I'm looking at the timer. I'm thinking of how much utility they've spent, how much utility I have, and I'm thinking of whether or not he'll be coming, whether or not he'll be in a position to white swing this angle, or he'll be in a position to sneak into this angle. So these are things that will help you stay focused when you're playing the game, because many times you see like a situation where it's like you kind of lose focus on the game and you don't know what you're doing. You have your crosshair in an awful place, you're not ready for a fight and stuff like that. So I think some people negate the lack of focus by focusing on movement. So some players, even when they're like stationary holding an angle, they're doing like this stutter stepping like a lot. But some people are able to just like focus really on the crosshair, and then just like one of the things I do is actually like control breathing. Like I'm constantly thinking about making sure I'm pacing myself and breathing. I'm just like breathing in, breathing out. Like when there's nothing for you to focus on in game, it's good to focus on things that are outside of the game and make sure that you're ready for when he comes into this angle, and that you're ready to like just take him down if he's gonna like swing this angle, if he's gonna like jiggle pick this angle whatsoever. And you also have to have like an idea of what you're gonna do. If he jiggle picks, are you gonna go out and try and kill him? If he jiggle picks, are you gonna just move back and take another angle? And things like this, things that will help you stay focused when you're playing the game. Also, like if he white swings, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna crouch and spray? Are you gonna try and like shoot him on the body? These are all things that you can all consider and think about when you're playing the game. So crosshair placement is actually something that's like it depends on the situation, and it also depends on your comfort zone and what you prefer. So yeah, if I'm not sure if Aeolus is still around, but that's basically like how like this is basically my answer for crosshair placement. There are times where I put my crosshair really close to the wall and that I have a reason for that. Oh yeah, Aeolus is here. Perfect. So for example, if there's an angle like this, okay, this is kind of like a cheat angle. I'm not sure if you can see on stream, but there's like this small little gap here that you can see through. So if you kind of have like small little cheat angles like this is where you can put your crosshair really close to the wall, because you can see him coming before he actually shows up like entirely. So this is like a perfect example why you should have your crosshair close to the wall. Even though ideally without this, I think you shouldn't even be in this position. You should be like more towards the back so you can see him coming first, like abusing the mechanics, and having your crosshair slightly more out to get him when he's like white swings and stuff. So yeah, I think this is crosshair placement, and for T-side crosshair placements is a bit different, because when you're entering let's say for example you're entering through connector, um, what you're gonna do is if you have a teammate here, he's gonna cover your right side, so your focus should be like on this guy. So a good idea, of course, you don't have to have your crosshair like on the fucking wall, like as you're running. What you want your crosshair to be at is at like maybe head level, especially with a AK-47, like at head level, and then just coming into this angle right here, you're able to, if you have a lead on him, you're able to negate him swinging you, and because he's gonna be so close to you, like basically you're gonna get the headshot really easy, so long as like your crosshair is kind of like at the neck or head level, and you're coming in really quick. If he's gonna swing you, you're ready for it, because he's gonna go like this, and his model is just gonna come into your crosshair anyways. But if you're too focused on getting your crosshair really close to the wall, that might not work out for you, because if he swings past you, if you're right here, right, and he does like this, there's a good chance that you might just like miss him on the crosshair if you're too close to the wall. So it's situational. It depends a lot. And for example, as you're coming up here, you want to clear out shadow, so you're gonna have your crosshair like always on, like this thing sucks for the CT. So even if you shoot through this, it's okay. But if you're not confident on getting a spray at this range, maybe you wanna put your crosshair slightly more towards the right side. So, yo, I have a follow. Okay, that's a follow on Facebook. Thank you for that. So even if he's like coming out on the right side, you can kind of get him. Like you won't be shooting like this thing here, which negates some damage. But that's why I say it depends, because different angles have different requirements for crosshair placement, and it kind of takes some experience or like demo watching to know like which one is the most effective. Yo, thanks for the follow from Ben Boys. Do you play together with Accurate? Yes, I do, but I haven't played with him on stream. I played with him when he was streaming. Why not just wallbang bang bang? Yeah, you could wallbang this, but you wouldn't want to do that if you're splitting A. So like speed is of the essence, right? You smoke here, you're killing this guy, your teammates Ramp or Palace is watching CT. You're coming here, you can't afford to like stand here and wallbang. You're gonna clear this angle like really quick and keep pushing and gaining space. And you gotta be like you gotta be like, you're gonna clear this, then you have to be worried about sandwich, and then you're kind of just like sitting here waiting for your teammates to give you info if it's CT or not. So yeah, wallbanging if you're trying to finish the round, not that good of an idea. If you're CT retaking, then of course, yeah, go wallbang. Do what you need to. Yo, who's that? Lin Su is new to the stream. Hello, dude. Thanks for the follow as well. Appreciate it. Say hi in chat. So yeah, that's basically about it for crosshair placement. There's a lot of things to keep note about, which is like also elevation. Like if you're down here, generally you wanna aim like lower because if he's swinging from the wider angle, if you're aiming too high, because you're anticipating like a close angle swing, like you're gonna miss this guy. But if you're anticipating a guy like far back trying to pick you, even though it's an unlikely angle, and a guy picks you like really close, it's so much easier to just like let your hand do the work, like pushing up and then spraying. If you like, this could also be a personal preference, but whenever I'm retaking and I'm here, I'm looking like a lot lower than like if a guy's gonna white swing me from close. And also it depends on the info that comes in from the team. If you know a guy's pushing bench, he's probably gonna swing you like close. If you know they're push like they're on default, they're probably gonna swing you from far. So yeah. Yo, I got Arvin's following the stream. Thanks so much, appreciate it. So yeah, crosshair placement depends on I would say crosshair placement depends on a couple of things. I think one of them is your personal preference. Because you yourself know what sort of angles you're good at hitting and what sort of angles then you're not that good at hitting. And if you don't know what angles you're not good at hitting, or what angles that you're good at hitting, just download a demo of yourself playing like your best game ever, and download a demo of yourself playing like your worst game ever, and watch the difference between those two games and kind of figure out what angles you're good at hitting. Two is also, it depends on the situation. If the enemy is gonna be likely to be wide swinging you, or if he's gonna likely to be like jiggle picking, or if he's gonna come in with a flash or whatnot. These are all like plausible situations that depends, and that it just really depends on the circumstances. So you gotta consider those things, and those things are considered when you're playing the round, when you kind of start to have a read on how the enemy takes a certain area, or if you studied the opponents already. And these are just like individual judgments that you gotta make when you're holding an angle. And then I think the last thing also, it depends on, it's still kind of like a situation thing, but the elevation and the angles are always going to be different for every angle that you take. And the fun thing about Counter-Strike is that you can hold a bomb site for like 1,000 times and you probably still haven't seen everything that has ever been done to that bomb site. There are common things, there are things that are in the meta game, there are things that people will often do more than not, like a B rush is always probably gonna be the same running lines, but then somewhere along the way you're gonna meet a B rush that will have a different running line. Like maybe against team A they're running here when they B rush, but maybe against team B they're running here when they B rush. So you gotta know like what situation calls for what type of crosshair placement. And also I think on the individual level it's important to, I mean, be able to like hit your shots. So maybe make your shots count. Like I think some work has to be done into getting like the first 5 to 6 bullets hitting like a place that you want them to hit. So crosshair placement is not everything. Kind of like it helps a lot with aim, but when you have your crosshair placed in a good spot and you have your base mechanics down, it's really easy to get a kill. But that doesn't mean that just because your crosshair is in a good place, you get the kill for sure. So yeah, think about it. That's basically it, I think, for crosshair placement. What positions do I play in city sites of every map? I mainly play like rotation. I kind of play the guy that gets a bit of info as well. But mainly rotations. B short, connector on train, mid on dust too. I have play main on nuke. Hey Sora, what's up? Mini or main or entrance, whatever you guys call it on nuke. It's like a million names for it. But even though I play these positions on CT, I have some set plays that involves me doing some other things some other ways. So I think players need to figure out what they're comfortable doing, and you need to have a set of like a skill set. You need to have like a personal skill set. Something that you like doing that fucks the enemy over in your position or whatever position it is that you like. Like even though I play rotation on train, I can do like IV pushes, I can do T-main pushes, I can do ladder pushes. I can also do a B push. Like all these things are like stuff that I spoke to my teammates about and stuff that they know and they know how to support me with, or they know how to come and trade me with. So yeah, um, find out what is your individual and personal skill set. Find out what are you good at doing. Like you could be a guy that could play this game and really get the information for your team to get them in the right side, or you could be the guy that is really good at holding that side. So I think the first step to improving is knowing what you're weak at and what you're strong at. And then while you're working on what you're weak at as a player, you're also trying to improve and sharpen what you're strong at and like strengthen what you're strong at. So yeah, many ways to go about improving in CS:GO. It's up to every individual to find out what they want to do.